Hey everyone, and welcome to another weekly check-in vlog where I try to keep track of my life and reading goals. If you don't know, my name is Wiebke and this year I'm trying to get myself out of survival mode. It's Saturday morning and I already started my day with some micro cleaning because I really want to have a lazy weekend. After my run, that is. I'm about to go running, and the last time we talked I was listening to The Last Dragon of the East. I finished that yesterday and I really enjoyed the story. It's a very fast-paced, easy fantasy rom-com. I don't know if it's a com, but the story starts with our narrator. We get to know Sai, who can see the red thread of fate that is tied between the fingers of two people who are fated with each other. And we get a vague idea of the kingdom. The kingdom, I think the names were mentioned and the places, but I forgot them all. They're not that important, their background. The emperor is very power hungry and keeps invading other areas around his ruling area, and so expands all the time. It's sad that he's very, very old, and the story starts with Sai getting into trouble and Emperor Rong sending him out to find the dragon. Because aside from the emperor being old and power hungry, he also wants to catch the last dragons. There is a legend about the three dragons, the green, the red, and the blue one, that is interspersed between the chapters before we're told the whole story. In the beginning, we just know that there is a legend of dragons and that Sai finds some dragon scales to heal his sick mother. And the emperor wants more scales, wants to find the dragon, and so he thinks, I'll set out Sai, the tea shop owner, to find that. And so Sai is enlisted to the army and has to go. The one thing we know about Sai and his fated one is that his thread is gray and faded. So that's not typical, and that's why he was never really sure about looking for his fated one. And after the quick and action-packed beginning, we have a long stretch of Sai actually meeting his fated one and them dealing with stuff, and I really enjoyed that. Even though it's a long time that they spend together, it's not slow paced. It doesn't feel like it's too much. I find the pacing in this book really enjoyable. The ending goes more back to things happening with Emperor Rong and coming to a conclusion. It's an ending, right? And I really enjoyed that. Like I said, the fantasy is very minimal. It's just basically dragons. The world building is very basic, nothing to worry about. The main part is really the characters together, Sai and his fated one, and some areas around it. And I can highly recommend it if you're into some fast-paced, easy, stressless distraction that has nothing to do with reality. Highly recommend. But now, going on my run, I'm starting Nevada. I cannot tell you anything about the book other than it's about 5 hours long, and that's what I wanted. I will have to continue with reading The Cosmere soon, and I wanted to have a shorter audiobook for the weekend, and Nevada was on my wish list, so let's find out what it's about while I'm going for a run. And there has been snow in the rain again, so I don't really know how long I'm going to run for, but we'll see. Let's talk about Blackouts for a while. I picked up the book again for the first time today after we spoke last week. Last week I started the book and read about 30-40 pages, barely getting into it, meeting the unnamed narrator. I still haven't figured out if he has a name, and the person he visits in this place that's called the Palace, where Kwan, the person he visits, is an older man who's dying. In the first few chapters we get to know how those two met, and that's where I left things off. I'm about 100 pages in and I finished the second part. For most of the story I am really enjoying the writing. I like the snippet style character of it, the jumping back and forth of things, how it's about one's life, how it's about the narrator's life, and how it's about those two books that one used to lure the narrator to this place where they're at. And I found out more about the history of those two books, Sex Variants it's called. One is for men, one is for women, and those are the blackout snippets that we can see throughout the text and the photos taken from. So we find out the history of the research of those books, and also that
Kwan doesn't really have a non-blackout version with the whole text, and how he enjoys the text that has been, it's not really censored, but it's more like, what's it called, when you black out things and create poetry from text, that it's what it's done. And he enjoys that, and I really enjoy those parts as well, that you can read those little poems in between. And since the whole part is very snippety in general, you can easily read them in between without losing touch of the story. And then at the end of the second part, the author or the narrator spoils completely what he's doing with the book. And I love that. So basically this page is a narrator telling us what one expects of him to do. And it's the book that we are reading. I really like this kind of literary device, and telling us what we're doing and drawing us in and making us rethink what we've read before. And I'm also curious how it will affect what I will read going on. Aside from that, I noticed at some point that I find the writing very beautiful and very precise, but it's also lacking a lot of adjectives, so it's not flowery. And I like how direct it is and how dry in most of the context that it's talking about. There is some kind of humor to it, but it's very dry humor. There are descriptions and adjectives used in descriptions, but it's precise and it stands out when it is done. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy how we see that these two spend a lot of time enclosed in that room talking to each other, and the narrator keeps telling us how he feels about that and their relationship. There's still a lot of dialogue and sometimes just narration. I really enjoy this book. It's so worth reading, even though I keep rereading phrases over and over again because I can't seem to focus enough to really get it the first time. But that doesn't matter. So I have about 200 pages left in the book. If I'm lucky, I can finish this weekend. That would be nice. But right now I'm waiting for a friend to pick me up to go out and enjoy some of the sunshine because it stopped snowing. And I'll tell you about Nevada and what I've been doing all week later. I'm not in the mood for that right now. And it's Sunday morning. Yesterday I came back from my walk with my friend and I was just too tired. We walked a little bit longer than I had anticipated, and I noticed that I didn't eat enough. So I got pizza on the way home, went straight to my couch and spent the rest of the day eating pizza, chocolate, and rewatching Love Between Fairy and Devil. Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit too much this week. I noticed that I've been feeling really low on energy and low in general. Work was draining this week, so I got home every evening, spent too much time on my couch and ate way too much chocolate and other non-beneficial food. It's okay, I don't mind in a way, but I've noticed that yesterday I ate the last of the chocolate and I'm not going to buy any new for a while because if I don't have it, I don't eat it. If I have it, I just eat too much. I don't have any self-control. So I'm better at not eating than limited eating at the moment. Well, we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I spent the morning in bed reading quite a bit. My current ebook is A Dream of Trees, another one of Samantha Sotto's backlog books. And this one is following Shiori and Aiden, I think. And Shiori is a Japanese woman who doesn't have any memories but helps people die. And Aiden is about dying in his hotel suite. So they meet and Aiden is very, I don't need your help. I'm dying alone. I'm pretty much aware of what I'm doing. And Shiori is like, no, you need to go to your rooms because she has this doorknob that opens rooms to scenes from their past that they need to remember and deal with before they can move on, apparently. And he's like, no, I have eidetic memory. I don't forget anything. So they end up walking through rooms and it turns into this thing where they enter rooms of other people that Shiori helped before. And so we hear a lot of stories of people dying and thoughts that they had after dying, things they meet or rooms they walk into, memories they have to deal with before they can move on. That's one part of the story. That is a part where I'm saying, check trigger warnings. There are a lot of gruesome and not so nice deaths so far. I'm 40% in. Additionally to other people's rooms, we also get more about Aiden's life, memories he shares and things he has. And now we're currently at the moment where they're starting to think that they're not walking through Aiden's rooms or other people's rooms, but through Shiori's rooms. And she's starting to get her memory back. So my presumption is that she can finally move on and Aiden is going to take over her job. But on the way there, I'm guessing we're going to meet a lot more people who died and get to know Aiden better and find out why he's in this state of mind that he's currently in. And we also find out more about Shiori and her past. So that's where I'm at reading-wise right now. I didn't pick up Blackouts yesterday much more. I am wondering if I want to go to the gym today. The only thing that I really stuck to last week was morning exercise and going to the gym. I was really bad at regular little breaks with exercise. I was bad on yoga. I was bad on doing anything after work other than being brain dead. So I am not sure if I want to use the day and read more. It's rather nice and sunny now, so I might want to go for a longer walk after breakfast instead of going to the gym because I'm not in a people mood. So I don't really know. There's a lot going on in my mind currently, especially about work and other things, and I don't really know what I want to do with that. I'm not at a conclusion yet, but I keep thinking and going over how I'm doing with getting my energy back, how I'm doing with exercise, how I'm doing with work, how I'm doing in general with spending my evenings more actively. And I noticed this week that I was watching a few days mindlessly series. And I noticed there's a difference in how I feel about it. I don't mind, I always keep going back and forth between I watch too much Netflix and I don't watch too much Netflix. And I noticed the difference in my feeling for that, what is too much and not too much, is if I want to see the shows. If I don't just sit down and turn on something, but I'm not really invested or don't care about watching, then I do feel it's a little bit more wasted time. Sometimes I'm not able to do anything else, so that's what I can do. So there's not much to complain about that. But if I could do something else with the brain space I have, but I decide, or not really decide, but end up watching something that I'm not invested in, I really need to check that I don't do that. I don't mind if I sit down and rewatch a show that I'm really feeling like I want to rewatch it, or continue watching something new that I haven't seen before that I want to watch. But if I'm just like, let's get this for background noise, there could be something better to do with my time. But I don't really have figured out how to do that yet, and it hadn't happened in a long time. So this is the first time in a long time that I was just watching something to watch something, but I wasn't interested in watching. I was just like, I don't know what else to do. That's where I'm at right now. So let's make coffee and have some breakfast. And yes, I'm drinking coffee again, as it didn't really have any beneficial effect on my sleep that I wasn't drinking coffee. So far, I haven't noticed anything change my sleep patterns. Before I head out, I wanted to tell you a few things. First, I finally decided to cancel my yearly subscription to the yoga app I started last year in July and the Korean app that I changed to a yearly subscription last summer. I am not using both enough to fall into the trap of it automatically continuing or renewing in summer. So I decided to take a stop now, and if I manage to use it apparently more in the next 3 months, I can still resume my subscription, I guess, or make a new membership. Anyways, friendly reminder for you to check what you're not using and what you're paying for, because sometimes we tend to forget and things renew automatically. And every now and again that happens to me. I had a insurance subscription for my glasses, which is cheap the first year. I mean, it's 10 euros once a year. It's cheap all the time. But after 1 year, the part you get out of it is not so good anymore. You basically get that insurance with the glasses company that I make my glasses to get a discount. So I got stuck on that for, I think, 6 years until I finally managed to cancel it. I wanted to share that so that you are reminded of the things you've been meaning to cancel but forgot. And then I'm heading out for a walk just now. It's about 11:30, and I noticed I never ever told you what Nevada is about, because I started listening to Nevada yesterday on my run and I really enjoyed this. I think I'm 14, 15 chapters in, and the book really throws you into the action of what is going on. Basically, you meet Maria and Steph, who are having kinky bad sex. And Maria is our main character. The story follows. She's a trans woman and Steph is her girlfriend, but they're kind of not having a happy relationship at the moment. And what I really like about the book is the narrative tone, the narrative voice. We have a narrator that tells us everything, but what we're focusing on is Maria and her experience as an N20s trans woman, her transition, and how she looks on trans people, or the perception of trans people in general, how she juxtaposes how real life is to what people think trans people are and what is seen in the media. I really like that aspect of the book, and I also like how real it feels, how she's not young anymore, but she's not old. She's kind of stuck at working at a bookshop for years, which she says herself is a job that people have as a jumping board to different jobs. But she's in the union now, so she gets yearly raises and is pretty unfireable and feels safe and easy. She knows what to do, but she's not really happy with anything. She's not happy with herself completely. She's not happy with her relationship. So at the moment, we're meeting her. We get a lot of facts about her past at the moment and the relationship with Steph and her, and also where she wants to go. And I think where I left things off was basically her saying, like, I really don't know who I am. I need to be alone some more.
A soft spot for messy characters. I spent the afternoon outdoors walking around until I finished Nevada, and part 1 finishes with Maria all up in her head, leaving New York, going west to find herself and figure out what she wants. Part 2 starts in Nevada, and we're with James, who's barely 20, confused about who he is, and then they run into each other, Maria and James. Maria's all like, he's trans, but he doesn't know that. So she tries to teach him and it goes wrong. I really enjoyed this. My edition has an afterword that comes, I think, 10 years after the first publication, explaining a little bit, or the author explaining a little bit about the reception, about the writing, and about herself. So I really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it for a messy book if you love messy characters. It's just that. Messy characters who are just up in their head. I hope you can hear me and it's not too windy. I also had a coffee and cake break and read some more of Blackouts. I'm going to finish that one today. I'm not going to do much anymore today when I get home. Probably not much reading. Maybe a little bit putting this vlog together. Who knows? Let me know in comments how your weekend was. What did you read? What did you do? Have you read Nevada? Did you like it? Have you read anything else that I mentioned today, or anything good this weekend? Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.